Welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. Coming up on today's episode, West Ham are after Taiwo. Summerville rumours have begun. Are Forest in for him? And how will Forest vote on VAR? And the latest on Callum Hudson-Odoi and where he's going to end up. This and plenty more coming up on your Forest news today. Let's get into it. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. As always, I'm your host, Wolfie, and if you're enjoying the content on Forest Fan TV, please take a second, hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. I dare you, if you are not subscribed to this channel, double dare you, go and hit that button right now. What's the worst that could happen? And what's worse than that is us guys in the UK are getting screwed. If you have Netflix in the UK, do you understand how much more content our friends over in America and Australia are getting in comparison to us? Why Netflix? Why do that to us? Luckily, Surfshark can come in and fix that for you, because if you go and get yourself Surfshark right now, set your country to either USA or Australia, you will unlock their catalogue of shows on Netflix. And if you go now, you will get 3 months for free. And if you use code FFTV, we'll chuck in an extra month. So in total, 4 extra months. Go check it out. The link is in the comments and in the description. Okay, let's get into it. And let's talk about Taiwo, because Taiwo has had interest in him from about January time. Chelsea were actually contemplating coming in and making a bid for him, but they didn't. In a way, is it bad if I kind of wish they did, because then he got injured and we would have had money? And in a way, that injury has actually made him less valuable for Forest. His valuation has come down, not gone up. There's a few of us who've been thinking, oh, maybe we can get like 35 mil for Taiwo, something like that. Not looking likely because of his injury record. But what he has going in his favour is Premier League experience and goals in the Premier League. Let's not forget what he did at the back end of last season. And then at the start of this season, how many games in a row did he score for? Was it 7? You lot tell me in the comments below, I can't remember. So why am I talking about Taiwo now? It's because there is still more interest from him. Chelsea weren't the only ones interested back in January. West Ham were as well under David Moyes. Now, David Moyes has left West Ham, but West Ham as a club are still interested in Taiwo because they see him as an ideal replacement for guess who? Yes, another Forest player who's over there, of course, in Antonio. So as he's coming towards the end of his career, they see almost a like for like in terms of physique, in terms of the pace, etc. there. So there is still interest from them. However, Forest would rather keep Taiwo because they feel there is a good player in him. They feel that they owe him a lot as well. We all talk about Taiwo's injuries, but let's not forget those injuries are not self-inflicted, but almost he played with a reason and a cause. And that kind of endears him to me. What do I mean by that? When he was, after his surgery, he's been rushed back to play for Forest on at least 2 or 3 occasions, be it last season, be it earlier on this season, or be it in the last stint of this current season as well. Current, former, you know what I'm talking about. And every time he's done that, because he hasn't fully recovered, he's actually triggered the injury to come back on or get injured and so on. So for me, that kind of endears him to me. And but even with that said, I'd be tempted to sell him. I love Taiwo. I just don't think he's going to get much better. Maybe with a run of games, maybe if he can stay fit, he will and could score a lot of goals. But I don't think his technique is that sound. You guys know I've always called him Bambi on ice, in a loving way, of course, because I think he's still probably our best forward, not our best finisher, but best forward. But if someone was to come in like a West Ham with 25 to 30 million, I think Forest would need to consider it. Maybe I just want a shiny new toy. I don't know. But I just think if we're going to kick on and step forward, we need someone who's not going to get injured. We need someone with a good first touch and can finish like without their shins. And I don't think that's Taiwo for me. Is that horrible to say? Tell me if you agree or not in the comments down below. Alrighty, let's move on to our second story and talk about Leeds. And no, I'm not going to say I bought the TV from Curry's to watch the Premier League and there was no Leeds with it. Honestly, Ed, that's such an Eddie joke on Twitter, man. And Mark and all of you lot, not doing it. But I will laugh at Leeds because I wanted Southampton up. Not because I like or dislike Southampton. Well, actually, I like Sorry Mike, so that's mainly why I wanted them up. But because I can't stand the dirty Leeds. And Leeds are not coming up. And Leeds are 190 million in the red because of acquisitions they've made. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to break PSR. This is more a cash flow thing. But it does mean they will have to sell players. Because they've also got a load of players that they loaned out in the hope that they would get back. Unlucky again, Leeds. And they didn't. So they must now sell-ish. And well, there are players. What I'll say is probably this way round with Leeds. They need to, the players want to play in the Premier League rather than Leeds must and have to sell them. They are backed by the San Francisco 49ers now. The cash flow isn't exactly the end of the world for them. But the likes of Summerville, Nonto, etc. will probably leave Leeds to pursue their own dreams and ambitions. And there are now links with Summerville and Nottingham Forest. Now, these links are very loose, in my opinion, coming from The Athletic, where I think it was Taylor was talking about how Forest were interested in him while Leeds were looking to sign him back then for 2 million. Now he's worth about 18 to 20 million. And that's a big jump. It's a bit like Callum Hudson-Odoi. Actually, Callum Hudson-Odoi is worth more. But Summerville will, in my opinion, be leaving. But there are other clubs, bigger clubs, if you like, also sniffing around for him. You've seen Liverpool linked with him, and there are smaller clubs linked with him. No offense, Rich, but the likes of Crystal Palace as well. So there is going to be a bit of a queue coming up for Summerville and Nonto in this transfer window, and one or two others. But to be honest, the rest of the Leeds squad is pretty crap. So I think they're going to have to sell their prized assets to make any money off it. Now, the problem Forest have got is we cannot buy before the 1st of July, as we keep harping on about. Therefore, if someone wants to get in before Forest, they basically will have over a month now, just over a month, to do as they please. And if they can get it to Summerville before we can, we're not going to get him. And I'm not even convinced we're in the running. For me, the only way or the only reason we get Summerville is if Callum Hudson-Odoi leaves and goes to Spurs. And that links us into the Callum Hudson-Odoi story because one of the directors within Spurs is against Callum Hudson-Odoi coming to White Hart Lane. Actually, it's not called White Hart Lane now anymore, is it? It's called the Tottenham Stadium. So it's looking like there's more unrest about Callum Hudson-Odoi with a Spurs link. But we still do know that there is a top 4 English Premier League team that's interested in him. And last time I checked, Spurs were not going to the Champions League. So there's at least another club. And we're hearing about 2 or 3 more as well, with some loose rumours. Now, this whole situation, as we know, surrounds PSR. And we've got a video coming up. It's just taken a while to put together. Bear with me. We'll talk through it all on the PSR video. But we believe that the fee that Forest are behind on is way more than 15 million. That was their expected the expected amount they were going to be behind come the end of the year. But from what we are seeing and hearing, it's going to be more than that. Videos coming up. That's a little EastEnders cliffhanger edge there for you guys. Not because I'm trying to build it up. It's not finished filming yet. So I still think Forest will have to sell one of the 3, either Callum Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, or Murillo. Honestly, right now, if Callum Hudson-Odoi was to go and we got Summerville instead, I'd be okay with that. Although I have questions about Summerville's attitude, I'd probably still take him if we can pull Leeds' pants down. Now, they will be in a position of slight power because they'll have more than one team interested, but also in a weakened position because he's obviously going to want to leave that shithole. So what do you guys think? Would you take Summerville? Yay or nay? Let me know in the comments below. And is there anyone else from that scummy club you would consider? So the forgotten thing, in my opinion, has been this VAR vote that Wolves have tabled towards the Premier League for them to have a discussion and then decide the fate of VAR. We know that's coming up in their annual meeting over, I think it's in June sometime. But how are Forest going to vote? And Forest find themselves in a bit of a sticky predicament right now, because Forest obviously, alongside the likes of Wolves, have been the most outspoken about the refereeing decisions, VAR, Stuart Twatwell, and all of that. But at the same time, Forest are actually not that keen to vote against the removal of VAR. Now, the talks we're hearing is that there's still some, not unrest, but discussions, should we say, going on at Forest in terms of whether or not they should vote for or against it. Basically, they are undecided is the simple answer to that all. Because if they vote for VAR to stay, let's just say we get another Stuart Twatwell next season, or a Rob Jones, or any of the other stupid idiots from the PGLOL making a bad decision against Forest. That can be kind of thrown back in Forest's face. Well, you voted for VAR to stay, therefore you're okay with what we're doing. That's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is if Forest vote no, then the problem is we still have the same dumb idiots who are reffing the matches and are behind the screens at VAR who are still going to be getting the decisions wrong. And therefore, if you don't have VAR, sorry, let me say that again. If you don't have VAR, you still got the same idiots on the pitch who are reffing the match, who will still make mistakes, who will still favour the big six with their brown envelopes, and Forest will still get screwed anyway. So Forest are damned if they do, and damned if they don't. In my opinion, leave VAR on there, sack Howard Webb, sack Stuart Atwell, get some of the officials that are doing the Champions League and the Europa football. Honestly, they are way better than the crap we've got. If we are going to claim we are the best league in terms of the Premier League in the world, then we better well damn well get the best refs in the damn world and the best VARers, that's such a word, in the damn world as well. Otherwise, how can we make that claim? So what do you guys think? Which way do you think Forest will vote? My feeling is Forest will vote to keep VAR in, or they'll abstain from the votes. And that way, abstaining may actually be the best solution for them. And that's your Forest news for today. Let me know what you think about all those news stories in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. A quick shout out to Matt SB, who's been completely screwed over by YouTube. Free Matt SB YouTube. What the hell are you doing? If he's controversial, then God only knows what I am. Free Matt SB. Come on, you Reds.